There we go. Macedon Podcast, episode 249. It's your boy Justin, one half. Berto's in the house. We appreciate everybody that tuned into the last episode. The last episode was really cool on Friday. We had a special Friday episode. We had an illustrator on that's going to be featured at Comic-Con. And I was trying to convince him the whole time that I want him to finish the damn Fire Dragon Ball Z piece that he was working on, because I want him to finish it for his appearance at Comic-Con. So it's going to be fire, and we're going to be at Comic-Con too.
Yes, we are.
We're going to be at Comic-Con too. So maybe we'll do a little IRL, little kind of meetup or something like that.
You want to get a backpack?
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to get, the backpack, you know.
Trying to get the backpack, all of the backpacks. You know what's funny? In that environment, like that IRL streaming or having a camera out is probably not. It's super common.
Yeah. It was like when I was in LA and I had, my first trip to LA, and I was on the beach, and we were on like El Matador Beach, which is like up toward Malibu. It's up north, and it's that beach with all the rocks on it.
Okay.
That's in every movie.
Mm-hmm.
They got these archways. When I tell you, dude, there was like 10 different wedding or engagement shoots set up along the beach. All different camera crews. There were vloggers everywhere. Everybody walking around had a dead cat on their mic. Everybody's mic had a fur on it.
Yeah.
And they were just cutting the wind off their recording. So I feel like Comic-Con would be a similar environment where just everybody's getting content.
There's a guy from Long Island right now who's like going viral, doing like that fucking with the public thing.
Damn, what's his name? Should we have him on?
His name is Dominic. I think like Dom the Troll or some shit like that.
Oh man, so he be professionally trolling people.
He's got a couple channels, right? I don't enjoy people fucking with the public. But he'll go to like massage parlors, like get a happy ending, and then like pull his phone out at the end and like give like a rating of the happy ending and like thank the person. And then like he'll have his phone out. He said, "I'm at 555 Brentwood Road, and I just got a happy ending, and it was great." And like the masseuse is like behind him.
Oh no!
And like he's,
dude. I think I saw the video you're talking about. I didn't think this was his thing.
Well, that's not just his thing. He also has another page where he just lowballs people on things that sell, like mostly automobiles. He goes to places and he has like his two boys with him. One of them is like a guy wearing an eye patch, and he calls him like One-Eyed Willie or something like that. And this is with all sincerity. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes up to people, "Hey, what's going on? You're selling the car. Listen, I'm not much of an expert, so I bought my buddy. He's an expert, One-Eyed Willie, and like, two-time Timmy or something like that." The other guy's got a catchy name too. I just don't remember it. And he makes these guys go through the whole car. He nitpicks at it, makes up things that don't exist, and then lowballs the absolute fuck out of them. Like he went to go see like a $30,000 boat and offered them like $700 or something. And he says like ridiculous. I got to replace all the alternators in this thing. He's like, "I'm gonna have to replace. This thing's a pile. It's gonna cost me. I'm losing money."
He's like, when they say that a boat is just a hole that you throw money into, that's what they're talking about. Yeah. So this guy does this, and he's having success. I guess, huh?
Oh, dude, he's everywhere. But the interesting part about it is that he's local. So when he's the places he goes to, like I'm like, I know where he's at.
Damn, I wonder if we should reach out to him. Maybe he'll come on. Maybe he'll come on. Maybe he'll come on a podcast. I'd like to talk to him, because that to me is it's content it's prank stuff, but it's stuff that's not hurting anyone. So
he bothers the fuck out of people too.
Does he? Yeah, he bothers people, but it's not like he's.
I think he's the same kid, and I might be mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the same one when him and his buddies went into that tile store, and there's like one guy working, and they would ask for assistance. And then they bring the guy over to one side of the store and then go to the other store and like call him over again, like yell for him. And he's like, I'll be right there. And they're like screaming. It's like these viral videos on Instagram where they're just.
So are they viral?
Dude, they're for me at least. I think they get a ton of engagement.
I saw the one where he was, outing the happy ending place, but I didn't know if that was real or not. I thought he just walked in there and just randomly picked a place.
No. So the thing is like when you look at like channels like his, I believe that those are still real. Like channels like Jack Doherty was recently on No Jumper. He did an interview, and they were talking about like him like messing with people in the public. And one of the things that they were saying, one of the things he said, he was like, people hate me so much because of the things I did, blah blah blah. And they were like, yeah, well, he goes, what do you think? He goes, but most of that stuff wasn't even real. He goes, but you messed with that guy. He goes, that guy was a paid actor. He was like, now what? And what Adam said to him was kind of like, well, it doesn't really matter if he was a paid actor or not. Like, people believe it. So that's what's reality.
Yeah, I guess. But, your perception determines your reality. That's what's reality. So your perception determines your reality. So I guess he's right. But once you find out, it's got to take kind of the hatred off of it a little bit. Right?
No, because people don't. First of all, people love to hate you. Second of all,
true.
It just doesn't. Because you look at, he's a perfect example, Jack Doherty. And he's saying that a lot of the things he did was completely scripted. And that most of the people that he pranked in his videos were all paid actors. And he's like, anybody who really watches my content could just go back to the content. He goes, these are the same paid actors. He goes, they all get credit for the work they do in my stuff.
Wow. Damn, that's like plot twist. Because I'll tell you what, I was not a fan of his because of how much he was just annoying. And I hated that he would be annoying and have security with him.
He's being sued for that. Adam asked him about it and he couldn't comment on it.
Really?
But he's being sued because his security guard punched that kid in the face at that Halloween party.
Yeah, there's a couple security guards that been...
He's that guy. I think his name's like Bam Bam or something like that. He was also like Wiz Khalifa security guard. He was at a Halloween party with Jack Doherty, and some kid is talking smack, and he just flatlines this kid, punches him square in the face.
Dude's probably 300 pounds.
Dude, he is an enormous.
Yeah, is he the guy they interviewed about him getting robbed that definitely was in on the robbery, if it was real?
Jack Doherty recently got robbed in California.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the security guard was like, well, when I first saw the guy, this, I was like, if this is real, you're in on it, bro.
It's funny because there's a video right after he gets robbed, and he's like, what the fuck, man? And he was like, I'm sorry, man, they had a gun. He was like, well, where's your gun?
Yeah.
And then Lil Baby sees him a couple days after that, and one of the dudes, he sees Lil Baby walking through like Rodeo or something like that. He daps him up, and one of Lil Baby's boys goes, oh yeah, you the one that got robbed? He was like, damn. And he goes, and you still got the same security?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's what he says. He goes, you still got the same security? That's crazy.
That is crazy. What he should do is hire Lil Baby to be his security.
You know what's, if your only job is to protect me.
Yeah.
I feel like there needs to be like a no tolerance like policy when you fail at that. Like the lady who failed to protect the president.
Yeah, get her out of here. The one that she couldn't return her weapon to its holster around her fupa. That one you talking about?
Yeah, she can't get control of her fucking cholesterol, let alone save anybody from fucking imminent danger. Yeah. I think that I think that you just need to be relieved of your duties like when you fuck something up like that. So that guy should have been fired. I'm not saying he should never protect anybody ever again. He shouldn't lose his license, but he's going to have to start over.
What happened is he wasn't the level of security you need for that level of fame. You know what I mean? He was like unarmed, and he was just a big guy. Yeah. That to me, when you're as famous as him, you got to have more legit security that's a level up, security that's armed, security that's fit, security that's big. Like, you can't just have some big fat guy. He's not a bouncer. You know what I'm saying? If you're just a big fat guy at a low level bar, you could get paid to stand at the door. Yeah. But if somebody's really going to get active on somebody, you need somebody that's capable. Dude,
and you need somebody who's going to do something for you too. I didn't realize how much money these guys were making.
Who, security?
The security that goes with when all these like live streamers that they do like these 24-hour streams where they go to other countries, they go to other places, they have the same security, it just is with them all the time, essentially like lives with them. Dude, they're making so much money. They were talking about the guy who used to be the security guard for, who's the Indian kid? What's his name?
Oh, Neon.
Neon. I could be inflating the numbers or getting them wrong, but I think he was paying a security guard like $300,000 a month. Is somebody in the chat that is Spaz here? Can you confirm that? I think he was.
I doubt 300,000 a month, dude, maybe 30,000 or something like that. Maybe 30,000. But yeah, that security, legit security, is not cheap, man. I actually used to train with a dude that does security, and he is legit, like high level. Dude is like a solid black belt. Dude has, firearms training, all that kind of stuff. What do you got?
$50,000 a month.
$50,000 a month.
That's how much he was paying. Leon was his name. That's security. It was like Leon ended up becoming like almost a character on his show as well. Like a father figure. Like he was the guy. There's like a viral clip of him being like, he's like in the Gucci store or Neiman Marcus or something like that, and he's looking at a $7,000 jacket, and he's like, dude, why do you need this $7,000 jacket? And he's like trying to school him and shit like that. So it seemed like he had developed like a father figure role, but there was like some kind of like weird greed situation, and now he's not there anymore. I don't know the whole story, but dude was getting $50,000 a month.
Bro, I believe it, man. You got to think about it. That guy, you're paying him. This is why you can't go cheap. When you go cheap is when they let you get robbed. That's when you get robbed. So you gotta really pay. Like I was saying, that company I know that's like super legit.
That $600K a year is nice. It is nice.
Wow, it is nice, man.
You were saying the company you were talking about?
Yeah, the company, because I used to train with a dude that now, years later, this guy he works for a security company, like a private security company where they, it's like a bunch of military dudes, him as a black belt with like firearms training. Like these guys are firearms instructors. They do self-defense courses and stuff like that. And that company is legit. Every dude that works for that company is a bad, bad man. I forget the name of the company. I would straight up put it on here. So you go and there's like a profile on every guy. Mm-hmm. It's like, this guy's a Navy SEAL. Like this guy is a black belt, multiple time PANS champion and shit, and does this like this. It was like, choose your fighter type of shit, and you got to pay for that, man. It's a skill. Think about it. You know how long it takes to get a black belt? That shit is 10 years on average. Some people it takes 15 years. So
they say
it's a PhD.
They say Joe Rogan's security is like crazy. They say he runs around like fucking like special forces dudes and shit.
Yeah, I bet he does. And he's a badass himself. You ever see him shoot a pistol?
Yeah.
Dude, this guy is like, be doing them courses with the earplugs where they run behind and hit all the pins like bing, 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 bing. Shoot, that's crazy.
He's also like a lifetime combat athlete.
Yeah, dude, imagine that. You get past Rogan security just for him to round kick you in your head. Like,
You'll be lucky if he takes you down. You forgot the first longer period of his life, he was kicking dudes in the fucking head.
Yeah, and at this point, you're lucky if he kicks you in the head too, because he moved to Texas.
Yeah.
You
might just get plugged.
Yeah, there's no more of that. No, it's like stand your ground and we're all strapped.
Well, Texas is a wild place. You look at what's going on right now with this case that is in the media. This gentleman, Carmelo Anthony, this kid, Carmelo Anthony, who, for the people who don't know, was involved in an incident where he was at a high school track meet, and he ended up stabbing another student at this high school track meet. Now there's a bunch of controversy online whether what's the controversy? Is it whether he's guilty of what I don't understand the argument. And how are people, this new trend that comes on where people commit crimes if they feel like, there's some injustice being served. There's like GoFundMe's made for these people, and people will help them fund their legal team. But what is the rationale behind this specific case? Like, you know it a little bit better than I do. Can you shed some light? Like, what are people saying? How are people rationalizing contributing money to a kid who stabbed another kid to death?
It's, to be honest, like a lot of the comments, I'm gonna be completely transparent here. I think there's an intentional race element being thrown into this thing. That is, I think a lot of it's bot driven. I think a lot of it is falsely fueled on the internet. And I think that that is spreading to other people and causing this thing. Because if you look at the comments of a lot of donors, it's all racial stuff. Like all, you know, there's a bunch of anti-white rhetoric and a bunch of, you know, there's a bunch of stuff. And I truly don't feel that many people feel that way. I really don't feel that way. Like, we got to open our eyes, like, you know, so that's a lot of what they're making it look like the motivation is to donate this money. But this is a simple way to just falsely fuel separation.
Yeah.
You know,
this is like, you're saying that this would be equivalent to like maybe some people that were sent to a protest to do things they shouldn't do to make people look bad. This is like a psyop almost.
Yeah.
They want to continue the divide between races.
Yes.
And this is how you do it.
Yep.
You know, because when we look at things, and no pun intended, but in black and white, and or we don't look at any kind of color. We look at things with closed eyes.
That's right.
This is fairly simple, right?
Yeah.
One kid stabbed another kid to death. That's it. There's no, like, I don't understand where the element of race plays a role in the facts here.
It's race hustlers. That's what I call these people.
Yeah.
A lot of people are race hustlers. They see this, that they, you know, the kid that stabbed him is black, the kid that got stabbed is white. So there's a guy that jumped in, and I don't know if you saw this guy that started to represent the Anthony family.
Oh, he's like their like Al Sharpton?
Yes, exactly. He's their Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
You hit it on the head, bro. That's exactly what this guy is. This guy is like 10 felonies, bro.
Yeah.
He like beat a kid, gave him like a brain hemorrhage and stuff. It's like the guy is the biggest piece of shit in the world.
Yeah.
And he's taking this thing over.
Yeah, he's Don King.
Bro,
King
he 100%, bro, 100%.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's what he's doing. He's doing this like race hustling thing and kind of kicking up this stuff that's crazy. Like, he's comparing his kid to Kyle Rittenhouse, you know, the kid that during the crazy riots that ended up, you know, shooting people, that it was reported that he killed black people. Every guy he killed was a white guy. That's how crazy the media is with trying to just push this racial divide. So I think that's the motivation that there is to kind of turn people against each other. I don't think, all right, let's get back to it. What's the motivation for donating and supporting this kid? I think that a lot of it is either false or it's fringe people that are being tricked by the false support.
Yeah, and I like that. I think I could 100% fall within that.
I mean, there's a recent case right now that just happened that's similar, that further pushes this racial divide. But it's the other way around. Have you seen that girl, Shiloh Hendricks, that woman?
I only know the case at a high level. What's the details?
So there's this woman, I think it was, I'm going to tell you where, I want to say it was Montana. I want to say it was Montana or Minnesota.
While you look that up, I'll read the chat real quick.
Go ahead.
Spat says, just look at Allied Universal. It's a security, you can pay for it and still get robbed. Super effective versus middle schoolers, though.
Right? Is that because he knocked out that kid?
No, I think that he's referring to that.
I think it's the company that security guard works for.
Okay, not referring to the recent stabbing at that Texas school.
No, sorry, my brain connected with that going back to the previous story.
That might be, or this might be a very dark joke that I may or may not find funny.
Yeah,
I may or may not find it hilarious.
Here, I'll tell you. Where's this woman from? I can't see where this woman is from on the GoFundMe. But long story short, this woman, Shiloh Hendricks.
Okay.
Hendricks. She looks like one of them all model OnlyFans girls.
Okay.
That's what she looks like.
The ones
She's
that like they eat a lot of cheese.
Yeah, no, the ones that look like they eat a lot of Xanax.
Oh.
But anyway, so this woman was filmed by another person that saw her at a playground. The story is which is some of it is corroborated in the video. Like some of it she admits to, and while this guy is accusing her of it, she's admitting to it. So some of this is pretty solid. You kind of get the idea. You don't see the interaction, but she says that a young black boy went into her bag and stole from her kid. Then this guy starts the recording when they're arguing. He's recording her saying that she called this child the N-word. And it's not just an accusation, because she says, yeah. She admits to doing it. She's like, yes, I did. Why? Because he was acting like one.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, damn. I was like, on camera? Dude, right on camera, bro. Yo, not only that, she calls him one too.
No way.
Straight up. She doubled down like crazy, bro. And I'm like, okay, because at first I'm like, let me hear it, because sometimes people misconstrue things. She was like, nope, that's exactly what I said. And I'll tell you why I said it. And you know what? You too.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is getting wild. So the guy just stayed calm. He just kept asking her questions. He was behaving like a paparazzi. Yeah. He was asking her the exact questions that were making her just spit venom. You know what I'm saying? Just keep going. It's like, hey, Kanye, and it's like 4 a.m. And they're like, hey, Kanye. And he's like, leave my family alone. And they're like, your daughter, what about Kim? What do you think about Kim and this battle over your kids?
Yeah, new tape drop to Kim. What do you think about it?
Yeah, exactly. So he was just like kind of baiting her. She was hot. You could tell, like pissed. So she just keeps on going. And of course, rightfully so, with this crazy outburst of, these racial slurs at two different people, especially when it's a kid. The guy says the kid was 5 years old on the video. He's like, this kid's 5 years old and you're talking to him like that, but there hasn't been any proof that the kid is 5 years old. He also says the kid is autistic, which there's no proof that the kid is autistic. It's too soon. None of that has come out yet. But this guy diagnosed him and aged him. I don't know what he did, count his rings. I don't know what he did to say exactly how old this kid is.
What's this guy's relation to this kid?
None at all. Actually, he's been accused of a sex offense, and he was videotaping in a playground. This happened. All right, so let's get down to it. Let's get down to
he
it.
has no idea how big. Was the kid... All right, first things first.
Let's get to it.
Was this kid really stealing from her? Or was it like just a kid doing a kid thing? Like, how sometimes kids are so small, they just see a bag and they're just like, oh shit, there's Cheetos in this bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Or was this like a kid who knew what he was doing?
Well, like one of them little drill kids?
Yeah.
I don't think it was one of those.
How's that possible?
No, I think it was just, I think that at this point, the story, nobody's asking if the kid stole from her. Imagine if that's the thing. They're like, listen to what this woman said to this 5-year-old. You never believe what this woman said to this 5-year-old. And you're like, but did he steal it?
No, hold on.
That sounds bad.
It does sound bad. For optics, I just want to let everybody know, I want to start at this. I'm starting at the root of this story.
Yes,
That's
we need to get to the
know.
facts.
I need to get, because no matter what, it's ridiculous. But you know what? No matter what, it's ridiculous. So what I'll say is, that's crazy. This whole situation is crazy. Where's her kid? What'd he take from that purse?
Bro, it's, we don't know what the kid took, but she was not happy and clearly verbalized she wasn't happy, how happy she was. The crazy thing is, the kid who she was talking about, his parents are nowhere to be found. Like we haven't, like they haven't made a comment. We haven't seen who they are. Nothing like that.
Well, you know what happens is like, listen, word of advice to anybody out there, especially if you're just going to start dropping words you shouldn't be saying to people. If somebody whips their phone out, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because things will live on the internet forever. We don't forget 6 months ago when Scott Storch's ex-wife, called those, not even, they were like Indian dudes or something like that. She was called them derogatory Spanish words.
What was she calling them?
She called them spicks. Telling them to go. It was crazy. I was like, you can't.
Yo, that just goes to speak to how stupid racism is. When people are racist, it sounds so ridiculous.
They were talking like Arabic to each other and stuff, shit like that. And she thought they were Mexican.
These guys are out here like flipping hummus and naan, and she's over here calling them, thinking they're flipping, tortillas and tamales, and that's not what it is.
I take it back. I don't think she called them spicks. I think she called them wetbacks. But either way, she said, and like they're not even Spanish. And
wetback refers to one specific type.
Well,
Really?
what's crazy about it is that she tried to use that as her defense. She goes, they're not even Spanish. She goes, when I call them, that's not even them.
Yeah, she's like, it was collateral damage.
Yeah.
She's like, it wasn't even my intended target. They got hit by, you know?
Listen, she got exposed immediately. Someone took a picture, someone took a video, they posted it online.
They did.
They found out who she was. That she happened to be somebody famous or somebody's significant other that's famous. And guess what? It ruined her. She got let go from these companies that she was associated with. She probably won't be doing any kind of public investment anymore. She can't tie her name to anything publicly.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that because a lot of these repercussions were starting to occur to the woman that said this stuff on the video.
People are finding her.
So this guy posted it. Bro, it's so crazy. They leaked her social security number online.
Yeah, they'll do that.
They leaked her social, where she works out, like her gym, other things that she does too. I'm pretty sure her employer. So because of that, these people band together and they can really cause some damage to your life, to your reputation. So she goes and creates a Give, Send, Go, which is, if for people that don't know, that's like a GoFundMe. It's a crowdfunding website.
It's the DuckDuckGo of GoFundMes.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to be a little more open to the types of crowdfunding you can do. Like this, just so that people are aware of context, this crowdfunding platform also allowed people to collect money for Kyle Rittenhouse, which was a kid, look it up, from the BLM riots. He was involved in some stuff there. And also, who was the other one that they collected for? Luigi Mangione, the gentleman that's in custody right now and being tried for the murder of that CEO from United Healthcare. So this woman starts this Give, Send, Go, and dude, I took a screenshot today of the amount. She started looking for 50,000. 50,000, that was the goal.
Yeah. Which is a good amount of money.
Bro, it's a good amount of money.
What? It's so crazy that people are doing this. You spit out like hatred and people will give you money.
Dude, not just money. She started at 50,000. You know what she's at now?
What's she at?
Just like take like a guess. If she was looking for 50,000, it's only been up for like 2 days or something like that.
100,000?
Bro, try again.
150,000?
Bro, 700,000.
$700,000.
$700,000
for $700,000.
$700,000
for calling a toddler the N-word.
That's what I'm saying. And Give, Send, Go deactivated the comments because they said it was so racially driven. And I'm like, this is, even if the first one with Carmelo Anthony and those donations being real, let's say that was real. This, I don't think, is real. I think this is intentional fueling of this racial divide that's being pushed. And I think that we need to be smart enough to not fall for this crap.
$700,000.
700,000, bro. What's crazy is today when I was at work, when I was researching this story, I screenshotted the Give, Send, Go page. She was at $6,000. When I got here, I checked it again. It's at $718,000. Now I'm going to refresh it. $721,800.
Dude, there's people on these websites with like terminal illnesses that are trying to get like surgeries or stuff like that are in need of money, and they don't get a fraction of that.
Yeah.
This lady doesn't even need money for like legal services.
Yep.
And she's got almost $750,000.
Yeah, she said it was to help her family relocate
to the moon.
I'm like, I don't know where you're.
Where are you going to go? First of all, where are you going to go where they don't know you? Maybe you'll go somewhere where you're a hero.
Yeah.
But you're not going to go anywhere where they don't know you, because guess what? The internet is everywhere.
Yeah. So she's said that she needs to relocate, that her oldest kid can't even go to school, that she's been doxxed pretty much. She's like, they're getting threats and stuff like that. So she's like, her family is in jeopardy. And not at no moment did she mention a husband or father of her children. So hey, maybe you were that mad that day and started yelling at that kid because you need a little help in the house. Maybe you should have, just make shit work sometimes. America.
Oh, if she went off on that guy at the park, you could only imagine what she said to her baby daddy.
Yo, I can only imagine. Yeah, she probably just came from there. She probably got to take the kid to his house now, and that's why she's so ornery.
Insufferable.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it's just crazy to me that these happen. The GoFundMe for Carmelo Anthony and the Give Send Go for this woman Shiloh Hendricks, they're a couple weeks apart.
Yeah. And there are people just donating to racism.
Yeah, they Give Send Go deactivated the comments because of the racial content, but GoFundMe didn't. They allowed the racial content to remain in the comments for people that are donating. So I'm like, this is clearly a psyop. They're trying to divide us. Nobody's this racist. Yeah, nobody in their real life experiences this amount of racism anymore. It's only on the internet. Go to the store. If you're black, go order food. They're going to serve you. If you're Puerto Rican, go to the Italian restaurant. Ask for the chicken parm. They're going to serve you. Nobody's going to give you shit.
It's so weird because it's like, why would people even want to, support this so much that they're going to give their dollars to these people? That's the weirdest part to me.
It's why I don't believe it. I think this is this shit is a psyop, bro.
It's crazy. You see speaking of racism is everywhere. Special kind of racism. This one we call anti-Semitism. Did you see what's going on with Barstool Sports?
Oh, no, I didn't. What happened with Barstool Sports with Dave Portnoy?
Well, Dave wasn't there, but it was like a Barstool party, and
the company's too big. You can't control every member. But go ahead.
So there's a party, and the bottle service, you could write something on that sign, and then they bring it in. They said something anti-Semitic. Somebody bought bottles, and I think they were employees, or the employees wrote it on there. And Barstool got a bunch of backlash. Dave obviously got on there, fired those guys and everybody associated with it immediately, and just went online and talked about how this is not, representative of the company. He doesn't support this. He doesn't know how this happened. Everybody associated or even close to it has been let go, fired.
Damn. So how about the bar that executed that request? The club or whatever.
Well, I think that's why Barstool got the back, because it could have been his employees that did it.
But for them to parade out that, they had to pay somebody to create that and bring it out.
Yeah.
Right? But then again, I guess they're paid to do what they do, and these dudes just made a bad choice.
It says that a Philadelphia bar owned by Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy, patrons who ordered a bottle service offered customized letterboard, which they can ask staff members to arrange with messages of their choice, such as break up with him or go birds. But at least one customer, a Temple University student who visited the bar Saturday night, asked staff members to arrange the letters onto a sign into an anti-Semitic message. The sign, according to Mr. Portnoy, had a four-letter explicit directed at Jewish people. So
I can imagine that word.
Yeah, so this bar is owned by them, and his staff there, I guess, put this sign together and then paraded it around.
I misunderstood.
I misstated it.
Yeah, I misunderstood. I don't know. What I understood was that his employees were out partying.
No.
They bought this. Okay, so it's a bar owned by him. So employees by extension fulfilled this request from a guest.
Yeah.
And okay, justifiable. I mean, it represents his brand. He's got to dead them, but it's got to end there. They can't be going crazy calling Dave Portnoy an anti-Semite. It was some crazy, he doesn't even know he owns that bar.
I wonder if this Temple student's going to get a GoFundMe.
I bet you that Temple student gets kicked out of school. You want to bet? I bet you that Temple student gets kicked out of school. Let's see. I guarantee they kick him out of school. This is the cancel shit, bro. They'll get rid of you, bro. You can't do anything after that. You're better off getting a felony, going to prison, and then coming out than saying the wrong thing on the internet. He got let go from Temple, right? What did he say? Let's see.
The president of Temple University, John Fry, announced the next day that a student believed to have been involved in the incident has been suspended and that the university was conducting an investigation. He added that anti-Semitism Abhorrent?
Abhorrent, yeah.
Ab-
Abhorrent?
Abhorrent, yeah.
Abhorrent?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. I'm sure that means disgusting. Or
Terrible.
intolerable.
Intolerable.
Intolerable. And it has no place at Temple. Funny, because it didn't happen there. A student named by Mr. Portnoy did not respond to a request for comment.
See, this is what I think is crazy, because these people that run these institutions that are like old guys now, they all have pictures in blackface when they were 15 and shit. So I'm like, these guys are crazy. I'm like, they just fucking cut down these kids for doing stupid shit.
Well,
like,
the thing
what are you
is,
gonna do? It's a kid. He's a college student. He does something stupid. So now you're gonna smear him forever, ruin his livelihood. You're gonna ruin his ability to go to college. You just, damn, bro.
So the thing is,
like, what happens?
It's not that. It's the public, dude. The outrage. And it's like you said, it really isn't even like a majority of the people. But when you look at like what's online, it's all these people online that just band together and they'll just make your life miserable if you don't comply with them.
Yeah, it's the loud minority. Mm-hmm. That's what ends up happening. The smallest amount of people that are going crazy. But to me, it's crazy because the online stuff doesn't even have to be real. This could be like bot farms. Like, I'm telling you, this shit is bot farm shit.
Dude, it's the same thing where you see people fighting for like the right to give kids hormone blockers. It's like the majority of the people do not agree with this. Mm-mm. But for whatever reason, the small group of people are so loud that they're getting their like local like legislators to like, they're bringing them in on this.
Yeah, to support it. And I think it just comes down to somebody's fueling it. I think there's an objective here. There's an agenda.
Yeah.
I think people are fueling this thing, whatever the reason is. Whoever's rich and benefits off of people hating each other is doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is, but they're funding it. They're falsely funding these things. You see how now they had her money, her Give, Send, Go collect more money than Carmelo Anthony's GoFundMe. So now they're prepping. I bet you there's like over-unders. There's like bets going on in whatever people are running the show here. And they're like, the next crime that happens, like the next minority person that's killed by police, the next, whatever the next thing is that happens that they can really pull a big race card on, is going to break the internet with a crowdfunding.
They're going to get even more money.
Even more, dude. It's going to break a mill.
What's
I'm telling you.
Over under on how much this chick ends up paying in taxes, like in how much she chooses to pay, like, or if she even pays taxes.
There's no tax on this. It's like gift money. I don't think you pay tax on it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think I made that up. Do you pay tax on it? Can we see? Damn it, we need a producer. Spaz, do you pay tax?
On a gift?
Do you pay tax on a crowdfunding account? GoFundMe, Give, Send, Go. Does that happen? I'm curious because I guess I want to know, how many illegals are going to get insurance from the tax money from this. What is it?
It says here.
Oh, I thought he said cooking. I was like, cook, Spaz, cook, bruh.
Generally, contributions made to crowdfunding campaigns, such as GoFundMe, are considered to be personal gifts, and such as are not taxed as income to the recipient. The
I didn't
IRS
understand
does
that.
not consider fundraising proceeds a taxable source of income.
Okay, there we go. These funds are not considered taxable income. The IRS typically does not require recipients to report the gifts as income. Look at that.
Thanks, Baz.
So there you go. Thanks, Spaz. Thanks, Berto. So right there you have it, folks.
Yeah, she's going to take all that money. Jesus. My hope for her to go to prison for tax evasion crushed just like that.
I have a question. Do you think that it would be beneficial to the public? Let's say millennials, Gen Z, the people that they say that they cite in the market are having trouble purchasing homes. Why don't we all just do crowdfunding and just buy each other houses? Like, why don't we do a big millennial down payment fund or something like that, where everybody just contributes $10 and you help somebody get a house. Then they contribute 10 and you get a house. And you know,
Were you a fucking communist?
why isn't that a thing?
Nobody wants that.
People
That's
choosing to
socialism.
contribute. You know, think about it. Think about it. Imagine you put a give, send, go up there and you're like, I'm looking for a down payment. You know, anybody willing to help me? Like, all I need is 80,000. You know,
My dad used to always give me this. Used to tell me about. My dad has these funny like theories, and this specific theory is specific to a culture of people. And I'm not going to mention what culture of people that you know the story's about, but my dad would tell me that this culture of people, they would all come to America and they'd live in the same house, all of them. And then one by one, they would all save the money together and they would buy houses from like, they would buy the oldest person a house. And then after that guy got a house, they would keep putting money together. They'd buy the next one a house and they'd buy the next one. And at the end, they all end up with a house.
damn, I wonder what culture this is.
But he used to tell me, like, he was like, so I'm sure there's if the rumors are true, there's people out there that are doing that.
There absolutely are, dude.
We just not organized, or we don't trust each other enough.
Yeah, we don't trust each other and we're not committed enough. But if you were to do it, dude, that stuff can happen, man.
It's like a junta.
Yeah, like a junta, exactly. Explain to people what a junta is.
A junta is
Different cultures have it in Latin
different
culture, but
cultures
they
do
call
it.
something different.
So like, let's say it's me and Justin, and Justin, and somebody else, and we'll do $100 a person. You give $100 a week, and then every week one of the three people get it. So like week 1, Justin will get $300, and then week 2, I'll get $300. Week 3, the third person will get $300, and then we could start it over again if we wanted to. But people will do it with like, you know, for like $1,000. They'll do it for, you know, a year, and do it for $12,000. You know, they go huge. I've seen them for a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, dude, it's big because, you know, if you think about it,
It's like saving money with a group of people, and for some people, it's like an interest-free loan. So if you draw numbers, right? Some people want to get the last number, some people want the first number. If I need money now, then I might want the first number. And if I get the first number, I have an interest-free loan. You know, I just pay the money I have to pay to the group every month or week or whatever it's set up to be. And that's it. I got all the money up front.
yeah.
And if you got it at the end, it's like you put the money away and you just saved it.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's really a brilliant concept if people are able to kind of have the discipline and the accountability to do it. You can't get into this with a bunch of broke bum ass dudes. You know, the dudes that don't have 50 cents for a Dutch, you can't do the junta with that guy.
No, there's
know.
people, I've seen people be banned from juntas before. It's very, very important. A lot of times it happens, you do it with people you work with.
Yeah.
Because you guys all get paid on the same day.
Yeah.
So you know it's like, you got paid, come through.
Yeah, everybody's accountable, and you know they've been at work. You know they still got a job. You know, it's not like they could be like, "Oh, I lost my job," you know, because they work at the Sunglass Hut in the mall. You're like, dude, that's crazy. But Spaz says in the chat that it's a genius tactic, you know, to do the crowdfunding to avoid paying taxes. He says, but the government will surely allow that loophole to be around for long. So a bit of sarcasm there, and I can't disagree with him. You know, they may crack down on it, but I don't know why people don't do it. I mean, it might be looked at like you're broke or you're being, you know, or you're doing something stupid, but it's like, if you ask, you know, if everybody does it, you know, if everybody does it and everybody's able to, you know, to get what they're looking for with the minimum amount, because it's like a junta, but it's not with people, you know, it's the vast reach of the internet. You could have 1 billion people. Do you understand everybody could be a billionaire? Do you understand if like every person gave you know, $1 to someone else? Think about this. We're always looking at the government. We're always looking at everybody to bless us. There's 300 million people in the United States of America. If each person gave $1 to another person, we'd all have 300 million.
That's
You know what I'm
not the way
saying?
that works.
Or if everybody gave one to the same person, a junta for every person. That's what I mean. So you would have
you would need to give up 300 million then.
Yeah, that's true. Let's pick a person. We'll do a lottery.
Okay.
We'll do a lottery. Let's say you do a lottery and
We do a lottery. It's the same thing, except the government takes half of it when you get it.
Exactly, which they're not allowed in on this one. I mean, the people do it themselves. That's my point. The people do it themselves. Like
You talking about like numbers?
Like a crowdfunding kind of thing. Yeah, like numbers, like a crowdfunding kind of thing. And you just select, and let's say not everybody gets it. Let's say 1,000 people in the country get it, and your obligation is that you have to donate some of it to the next round or something like that, So I think that would be, it's an idea. It's a start. It's a seed.
It's almost like Social Security.
It's a seed. No, but Social Security, see, the thing with Social Security is it is kind of like Social Security, but again, the government's not allowed in it. That's what I mean. The government's not allowed in.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that fuck everything up.
Well, they take their cut.
They ruin everything. Yeah, they take a cut. Let me see.
Every dollar you contribute, the odds of you winning going forward goes up. Oh,
I like that.
I like that.
But then you would have the rich people dive in, and they would donate. They donate 10,000 up front, 100,000 up front. Then it gets, it gets difficult. Then you got to start excluding certain people. You got to have income maximums. You got to have like income maximums. If you make like 250,000 plus, you can't play.
We gotta do this by county.
Yeah, might have to do with small c, but then people will start falsifying addresses. They'll start,
Well, that's there goes like the biggest thing is that anytime you try to do something positive, people like take advantage of it. Dude, look at all the people going to jail recently from the PPE loans.
Yeah, the PPP loans where people went PPE? PPP.
PPE is,
I think it's PPP.
No, yeah, PPE is from the last crazy situation.
Yeah, from the pandemic that they made up.
Yeah, well, you know what? The PPP came along with the PPE. It was post PPE. But the loan that the small business loan that the government was giving out to people who small businesses was affected by the shmemic.
And for people that don't understand, a small business is not what you think it is. A small business is not just a hardware store. A small business is a business that operates and makes less than $30 million a year. So it's not a frozen yogurt, a froyo stand. That's what we always kind of think about as small businesses.
Business, mom and pops.
These are big businesses that are smart and able to do this. Small businesses, technically, but not that small.
Well, what was happening is that people were like just lying. Like they would have a tax ID for like a barber shop, and they would say like, "Oh, I had 20 employees." There was a guy who had a pizza shop, and he was the only guy that worked there. And he had told the government that he had like 20 employees. He got all this money for a loan to keep his employees on a payroll. He ended up closing the pizza shop, buying a used Cadillac, and like moving to Louisiana or something like that. Now he's in prison. They're just finding all these people. Like the government don't play about their money. If there's one thing they don't play about, they put Blade in jail, dude.
Yeah, they did put Blade in jail, bro. They put, what the hell was the Demolition Man?
Yeah, put him in a box.
Yeah, but it's funny. I just got a text. I got a text that says like everybody contributing $1 or something like that is communism.
That's what I said.
That's what I got. But it's not because it's by choice. You don't have to participate.
That's what I said. Are you a socialist?
No, but that's like you don't have to participate. It's just a really big junta. Like you don't.
But that's like the foundation of communism. Is like it's on paper conceptually it's like utopia, right? But it just never works that way. If we just all put our money together, we don't even need money.
Damn, I'm having epiphany here live.
These things. We don't even need, dude, you don't need to buy rice. You could just farm rice and give it to the store. And then the guy who farms chickens, he'll give his chickens to the store. So when you need rice, there's rice there. But when you need chicken, there's chickens there too. It's easy. And you only take your fair share. But you know what? Because of greed, we have to assign somebody to give us our fair share. We'll tell the government how much, they'll tell us how much rice they could give us.
No, see, that's the thing. It's not communism if the government's not involved.
What?
Once the government gets involved, it's messed up. I mean, everybody gets to choose if they want to do it. And you get your name on a list or something like that. And if you're in on it, you throw the money in and then you get the benefit. But if you're not involved in it, then you can't get the benefit. That's the thing. If you're not contributing, can't have any. And that's what makes it not communism. Because communism thinks you don't have to do shit and you could just have shit. That's like socialism. That's like that concept. Like you don't really have to do anything, but you can still benefit. Nah, you got to contribute to the pot. And if you don't contribute to the pot, you don't have any do your own thing. You know what I mean?
This is a union.
Okay, yeah, it's a union. You got it. It's a union.
That
You're
sounds like a union now.
It's a union. These are dues.
Huh.
These are dues. It's a big union.
Another con in my book.
Nah, man. I'm a man for the unions. I got 4 pensions coming my way, bro.
Yeah, I mean, because it benefits you, you're a fan for it. But when you think about it objectively.
I mean, who does it not benefit?
Who does it not benefit?
The owner of the business, you mean?
Doesn't benefit the owner of the business, and there's plenty of people who go throughout their entire career without utilizing the benefits of the. I know I thought about this earlier. But utilizing the benefits of the union. I think the people who utilize the benefits the most are the people who make the union look the worst.
You mean the benefits in terms of the protection benefits?
Yeah, I think that the benefits that they receive, even from like a medical perspective, like now there's laws in place where companies of certain sizes like need to provide certain levels of benefits. So I'm not going to go down this union rabbit hole, but I think that for the most part, like I don't know if unions are 100%. Maybe they're the union hierarchy or the way we do unions needs to be adjusted. Maybe I'll say that. Right. Maybe they could exist, but they need to be adjusted.
That's fair. I mean, there's a lot of unions in a lot of industries, and there's a lot in education. There's a lot in education, and one of the things that came up that I thought was super interesting in education is Yale. If anybody's familiar with Yale, Yale just added a class about Bad Bunny. They added a Bad Bunny course to their curriculum. Yale University is rolling out a new course this fall, Bad Bunny Music, Aesthetics, and Politics. The class uses his latest album to explore identity, migration, and colonial history through the lens of his music. They're going to be perreando up in there, and I have no idea.
I don't get.
So, okay. Hang on, there's more, man. Students will dive into the rhythms of bomba, plena, salsa, reggaeton, studying how these genres tell deeper stories of resilience with tracks like Nueva York. This is hilarious. Spotlighting the Puerto Rican ties to New York City. So
it's so stupid because unless this class is being taught by Bad Bunny, I don't believe anything they're saying. These are like interpretations of what they believe he meant when he might have not meant anything. He might have just been making fire music. This is like when you see like a painting of an artist that's dead and they're like, these brushstrokes, these strokes are because of the infinite sorrow that he had as he was painting it. But if the guy was alive to tell it, he'd be like, nah, I just fucking did it. I don't know why I did it this way.
Yeah, he's like, actually, my dog knocked into my arm while I was making that brushstroke, and that's how it came out.
Exactly. Like that's what this class is gonna be like. This class is gonna be like, oh, he did this because the roots of his people, the Tainos, they inspired him. And he's going to be like, that's not true at all. I was drunk when I wrote that.
Yeah, he's like 2 bottles of tequila and 4 lines later.
Yeah.
He's like, I made that hit. He's like, yo, esa mierda está heavy,
or shit like, oh, there was a girl I was hanging out with and she loved this beat. And that's why it's on the album, because I wanted a beat.
Exactly.
Ended up being a hit. Who knew?
Yeah, now like, look at this. You're talking about it. He's like, I'm actually not talking about the beach at all. The beach is actually a metaphor for this side bitch I had.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. You never know what one of these guys is writing about. You can't can't do that.
Yeah, no. As a matter of fact, that song was referring to cocaine.
Yeah, exactly. Like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. There's no Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. They're actually talking about LSD.
Yeah, we're talking about drugs, Playboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Yale, I don't know if they got enough Ricans on the staff to really make a qualified interpretation of what Bad Bunny was talking about when he's referring to eating pussy on this track, on these tracks.
Like, Ponte en Cuatro, chapter 1.
Yeah.
Ponte en Cuatro.
Yeah, this entire album is driven by provocative, like perverse thoughts and like, you know, actions. And they're going to teach a course at Yale about it. While I think the album is very good, like, it's a fucking, like, reggaeton album. It's not something that needs to be analyzed. They should be trying to figure other shit out. Because there's, like, we still haven't gotten a hold on this cancer shit.
Yeah, bro. But I'll tell you what, man. They're trying to figure out, you know, if she's calladita, like, what's the deal? You know what I'm saying?
Who goes to Yale for, like, music?
Bro, college is such a racket now.
Who goes to school for music? The best rappers I know have been shot. They don't have degrees.
Dudes were recording out the trap.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't really know. I think it's just this weird, you know, weird appropriation type of, you know, they're just playing. I hate that word appropriation. I can't believe I just used that. That's not what I meant at all. You know, that's not what I meant at all. I meant just like kind of flexing this toward the stupid student base they have.
These are the same people who made Latinx.
I can't believe I said that. Can we cut that word, bro? That's not the word I meant to use.
These are the same people who made Latinx, dude. The
Yo,
people
I was
this.
just gonna say that's how they introduce this. You know, the Bad Bunny. They're like famous Latinx star.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. I can't feed into this nonsense.
No, so it's a wrap for that. Shit is
nobody who listens to Bad Bunny will ever see the light of this course.
No, let's be honest, man. You put some chick in there with crunchy hair and Jordans on, yo, and she's gonna sun that professor. She's gonna be like, "That's not even true. That's not even true. That's not even where he's from."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Put a girl, find a girl in some nice 13s, maybe a jersey dress. Remember them jersey?
Dude,
remember
with
the dress?
Chinese slippers? You
Bro.
get a Puerto Rican chick with gel in her hair, jersey dress, Chinese slippers, ankle socks, hoop earrings,
Yeah.
lip gloss popping, and she will tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about this professor talking about when Bad Bunny says Ponte en Cuatro, he's referring to the 4 points of the earth where they touch Puerto Rico and being grounded within the island of Puerto Rico, La Isla de la Borinquen, as they refer to it. And then she's like, no, he's talking about Toto in the sky. He's talking about make that shit point towards the sun.
Yeah, he's like face down, you know, put it up.
Yeah, I think it's, if anything, it's a point back to face down, ass up.
Yeah.
You know, a term that originated in your original hip hop days.
Right, so right here is where we have the influence.
Yeah, the influence
of the American hip hop culture, you know, and then the guy starts circling.
Yeah, and
you know?
some chick with a fucking snatch in the sky.
I love it, dude. I can't believe it. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, Puerto Rico, we made it. You know, Puerto Rico, we made it. But at the same time, I'm like, but we didn't.
There's not a single Puerto Rican taking this class. I'm telling you right now, because none of them are. They're like, if I'm in this school, I'm definitely not taking. This isn't the fucking class I'm taking. If I'm spending, dude, you imagine spending $10,000 of credit and you got a $30,000 course that's teaching you about a Bad Bunny album.
I'll tell you what. You know who it's going to be that's taking that course?
Who?
It's going to be a bunch of Asians that are going to out Puerto Rican us.
They already.
You ever seen them chinos in Puerto Rico, bro?
No, they got the best chicken, and their dancing is
Bro,
unbelievable.
helado de coco, bro. That coconut ice cream.
Yeah, whatever reason. I mean, I guess there's a lot of Asians in the world. There's a lot of Asians in Asia, so the fact that there's Asians in other countries shouldn't be that crazy, but it is crazy.
But the pockets, and they speak Puerto Rican Spanish, bro.
Yeah.
They speak like they're straight up from a campo, bro. It's crazy.
Well, it's like when you go places and you meet people who were born in, like, when you go to, like, you know, Jamaica, and there's a white guy who speaks patois, or you go to the UK and there's a bunch of people who are from other countries that when you look at them, it look like, oh, you're from here, and then it's like, no, they got an English accent, or they have a,
yeah, like give up the wallet, isn't it?
yeah, exactly, bingo. I see one English guy talking about last week it was gorillas versus humans, but how many Americans would it take to take down a British man or some shit like that? And the comments were just ridiculous.
Bro, come on. They're still using bayonets and shit. We out here with 50 cows.
Dude, the
Stop
amount
it.
of gifts of like the Revolutionary War were fucking crazy.
Stop it. The British are coming. The British are coming. The redcoats. They're still out there. Yo, I shouldn't say that. I don't mean that, guys. I'm not a roadman. I'm not a.
You don't gotta worry about being chefed up. They're primitive out there.
I'm not a top boy, bro. No, please.
No,
forgive
I love
me.
the UK.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
But I think we've reached the hour, bro.
That's it, bro.
We've reached the hour, so we touched, and shout out to Dave Blunts.
Shout out Dave Blunts. If you ever needed it, he's giving you the N-word pass.
Yep. So I say Shiloh Hendrix, you should probably hit up the next Dave Blunts concert. It'd be a lot safer for you. Probably be a better idea. You probably should have done that in the first place.
Less lucrative, but safer.
Yeah, safer. So Mass and None Podcast episode 249. We're almost at 250, man. We're almost at a quarter of 1,000.
Quarter brick.
Yeah, that's it.
Half a brick, whole brick.
So quarter zip. So we right here at the Mass and None, we appreciate everybody that jumped in live, everybody that's giving us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell and check out our other content, shorts, clips, all that stuff. And check us out on all your favorite audio podcast platforms. And if you don't find us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Berto's going to let you know what you can do to let us know.
Join the Discord. And harass us since we place the podcast on your obscure podcast listening platform. And if you got Discord, join the Discord anyways. Topic suggestions, funny topics, feet pics. We got it all on there. That's it. Peace out.
Peace out.